To summarize, cabin pressure is regulated by opening and closing outflow valves. When the valves are closed, cabin pressure increases. When the valves are opened, cabin pressure decreases. Undue stress on the airplane hull is avoided by setting a maximum pressure differential. Safety pressure relief valves limit the differential pressure to a maximum of 8.65 psi. The cabin altitude is raised as needed to avoid exceeding the maximum pressure differential. A 7.8 psi maximum differential is the controller limit for flight altitudes greater than 28,000 feet. A 7.45 psi maximum differential is the controller limit for flight altitudes less than or equal to 28,000 feet. The pressurization system is monitored on 3 indicators. The cabin altitude differential pressure indicator shows the cabin altitude on its inner scale and the cabin differential pressure on its outer scale. The cabin altitude should rarely exceed 8,000 feet. If it exceeds 10,000 feet, the altitude warning horn sounds. If it exceeds 14,000 feet, auto mode will fail. The cabin climb indicator shows the pressure rate of change inside the cabin. In auto mode, cabin rate is limited to 500 feet per minute during climb and 350 feet per minute during descent. The outflow valve indicator shows the position of the main outflow valve in all modes. The pressurization system controls the cabin altitude in any one of 4 modes: auto, standby, manual AC, and manual DC. The mode is selected using the mode selector. Auto mode is the normal mode of operation and provides automatic control of cabin pressurization. Standby mode is a semi-automatic backup in case of auto mode. Manual AC and manual DC modes are manual backups in case both auto and standby modes fail. Auto mode failure is caused by loss of electrical power, cabin altitude above 14,000 feet, and excessive cabin rate of climb or descent. When auto mode fails, control of pressurization is automatically transferred to standby mode. In auto mode, the first officer sets the flight altitude and the land altitude indicators during cockpit preparation. The first officer also sets the flight ground switch during taxi out and taxi. During flight, the pressurization controller automatically controls pressurization. In standby mode, the pilot not flying sets the cabin altitude indicator for each phase of flight. As in auto mode, the first officer sets the flight ground switch during taxi out. The cabin rate knob is set at the index throughout most of the minor adjustments to the descent rate are sometimes made with the cabin rate knob prior to landing. In the manual mode, the pilot not flying controls the pressurization manually using the flight ground switch and the outflow valve switch.